Nyx Ulric, aka Badass, aka Hero, aka Dope Final Fantasy character. Will he be returning in the game in Final Fantasy 15? What's good, my fellow peasants? How you all doing? So yeah, I'm just going to throw this out there before I start. This is spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about the movie. If you haven't seen it, if you're still spoiler free, click away, leave now, because I'm going to be talking about the movie. Now I'm guessing anyone left at this point, we've all seen the movie, so let's get this out in the open. Nyx. He was an absolutely amazing character. He was. It cannot be overstated enough. I don't think I've seen any hate on Nyx. How can there be? He was Zack Fair level with heroic. He was just a good character. And one of the biggest questions coming out of Kingsglaive that I've been seeing certainly is, will Nyx be returning in the game? And I think there's a lot of those questions because Nyx's demise, if that's what we can call it, was left very open-ended, so we couldn't quite write him off. Now I'm going to go ahead and say I think the Lucii are going to follow through. And talking of Lucii, by the way, I'm just going to say at the end of the credits, they actually called them Knights of the Round. They even referenced them as Knights of the Round, so the fact I was calling them Knights of the Round, and they actually even acknowledged them as that in the credits, that was crazy. But I'm going to say I think they will follow through with the pact that Nyx made. But let's break that down. What actually was it? It was them saying that they would take his life. Now, what does that really mean? I mean, take his life can mean many things. Take his life as in literally kill him. Take his life for servitude. Take his life for a purpose of their own. Take his life to carry out their will. That's another point. So many possibilities, and that got me looking at all the evidence as to if Nyx could be returning and how or what he could be returning as. And I came up with some pretty dope ideas, so let's just say Nyx is returning. It's actually confirmed. Tabata, he confirmed in an interview with Dengeki, where is it, he said Nyx will appear on the main game in some form, according to Tabata. Now, the wording of that, in some form, that is so indicative, that is so hinting that, of course, Nyx will be coming back, but he will be coming back as something, not in as we know Nyx. And really, Tabata didn't even need to say that for me to be hitting up this theory video, because I was already going down this path. I was going to be doing a theory video that, because remember when I did my reactions, I said how is it funny when Nyx, he sits there and he just sort of plays with the fire, Regis plays with the fire. I said that at the start, and I said how the chapter 0 boss sort of just plays with fire in a very similar way, and then I kind of dismissed that. I was kind of just speaking out my arse at that point, and then I said, oh well, Ravus is the one with the burnt arm, and of course this chapter 0 boss has a blackened arm. But then we saw Nyx get his arm blackened. I said, oh my god, that means that even Nyx could be that chapter 0 boss. So really, when I connect those two, Nyx playing with the fire, plus his arm is blackened, we really could have to look at whether this chapter 0 boss could be Nyx. Now, following on from there, I've been saying that I believe Cor Leonis is an astral in disguise, and I've also been saying that he's been serving the Lucis household. So what could we see that as? I've been saying that would mean that I'm making the claim that a previous guard of the Lucis household who served the Lucis household in a guard position was turned into an astral. Well guys, Nyx is a guard. His life is now to do with what the Lucii, whatever their will is for him. Could we now see that as them turning Nyx into an astral? And I think a lot of people have been going down that vein, and it's just funny how it connects with so everything I said about Cor Leonis can now be applied to Nyx. And then that led me even further, if that is the case, that astrals are in some way connected or serving the Lucii. And I mean, that kind of makes sense just from the idea alone. Of course, Noctis, he's one of the only people who can actually control the summons. He can turn them into a wieldable form. He can absorb their spirit, absorb their power. He can summon them. And of course, Noctis is Lucis' ancestor. He is a Lucii. His destined, his fate is to become a Lucii, just like we saw Regis become. So there is evidence that the Lucii are in some way connected to the astrals. And if the astrals are connected as servants, or if it's even the Lucii who turn humans into astrals, that would connect on so many levels, because I've been saying I think Gentiana is an astral, and then I've been raising the question, well, why is it that Gentiana has been seen in possession of an Armiger weapon, the Trident? We've more or less had it confirmed, so we have proof there. Does that mean even Gentiana was once a servant of the Lucis household? And oh god, guys, that would make sense, because I've been saying, why is Gentiana wearing black? It's so clear that Niflheim's side wear white and Lucis' side wear black. Why did they put Gentiana in black? Well, if she's an astral and she has a Lucis weapon, then that really connects with the whole Lucii to astral theory I've got going here. And even if we then go to Cor Leonis, if I'm right, he's an astral, he also has to be in possession, for this theory to work, of an Armiger weapon. Well guys, Cor Leonis' weapon is a katana, and we've seen one of the Armiger weapons is a katana! Oh no, he's got one. I think Cor Leonis might well also, the katana might be the same thing. He has an Armiger weapon. And if we now apply all of that to Nyx, a purpose that he could be coming back for, then yeah, let's look at this Chapter 0 boss. I found two connections inadvertently that could make this Chapter 0 boss Nyx. So if I'm right, then of course, this must be a summon. And a lot of people weren't too sure whether it was summon. I was going to do my theory of videos on whether it was Ardyn, whether it was Ravus, whether it's a Lucis ancestor, or whether it was a summon. Remember, I said the summons I was going to cover was Bahamut, Diablos, and Ifrit. But none of that matters, guys, because Tabata confirmed, and he's landslided himself by doing this. He confirmed that this is Ifrit. He confirmed it. That means so much. That means so much. Not only, of course, what we're seeing with this Chapter 0 boss, that is not Ifrit as we typically see him. Of course, he has a humanoid features, for far more humanoid than we typically would see with Ifrit. And that connects with my theory on what I was saying about the Genesis picture, how all the images of the summons in the Genesis picture were a halfway blend between the human and the astral form. We look at Ifrit, we look at the humanoid side of his form. It resembles Nyx in many, many ways. Like I said, with him sitting back, playing with fire, he's got the burnt arm. Why would they give Ifrit one burnt arm if it wasn't someone who was previously a human who tried to put on the ring, was deemed not fully worthy, and had their arm burned up? They wouldn't do it, guys. So Ifrit had to have once been a human, and he had to have once been someone who had his arm burned. I'm not going to be seeing this as Ravus at this point, because this is a halfway point between the game. Now, is Ravus going to get turned halfway through the game? Well, that would go very much against Versus 13, in which Ravus was going to be sort of an end fight. We saw that in Darkened Insomnia. Now that could change, but I kind of feel it isn't. I kind of feel this is all more pointing towards Nyx. He's going to return in the game in some form. I think Astrals are pointing as the most likely option. It connects with if all the guard, the Lucii, the kings get actually given a position on the Lucii sort of throne council. That's what Regis has been put on. But the guards and those in the household who were worthy get given a role as an astral, and that would make so much sense with Cor Leonis once being a guard who is now guarding the Brotherhood, the ancestors and cycles, and it would also mean that Gentiana was once a guard of the Lucis household. That's why she's wearing black. And we don't stop there, guys. Who else do we then turn our sights to? Who so many people have been saying that they believe he is also an astral. A lot of people have been saying that they believe he could be Bahamut. And that is Ardyn. That even makes sense on that level, because if Ardyn is also a summon, it also makes sense why he is also wearing black. And going even further, that could even offer some context as to why Ardyn is actually even trying to get the crystals, why he is trying to fight against the Lucii, as I've been theorising was. If he has been put into servitude, as Nyx is, Nyx made a pact, he is now sort of their servant to do their bidding, to do their will as an astral. Did Ardyn make the same pact once time? Is he a servant? Is he enslaved by the Lucii? And everything he is doing is he's trying to break from his shackles, break from his bonds. Oh god, it really is possible, guys. I need you all to think about this. I need everyone's thoughts, any other hints anyone else has picked up on. Do you think that this is how Nyx Ulric could return in Final Fantasy 15 as Ifrit, the fiery boss in Chapter 0 with the burned arm? And even if it's not Ifrit, if you don't think of that, do you think it could be just an astral, another one? Or do you think there's another purpose? Actually, you know what? I'll do a poll. I'm going to do a poll, go up, press the I. I think there's a very strong chance he could be Ifrit, and I think that would be absolutely dope. I think that this is an avenue of the story that we've only just freshly explored and would be really exciting. I'd be really hyped if they went with this, and that would put so much context, even more context to the Genesis picture than even I first anticipated. Let me know, guys. Until the next video. Kubo!